Okay. Perfect. Everyone's coming in slowly, trickling in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just going to wait a couple minutes for more people to show.
Is it okay if I say hi in the chat?
Please say hi in the chat. I'm just going to drink some water.
It's important to stay hydrated.
Voice. Yay. I love that you're Ron Burgundy. That's a really good choice.
I forget. I did that. I've been at Lulu for like 7 years, and I think that's maybe the first executive decision I made when I joined the company. And I forget that people can see it all the time until someone says that.
Funny. Yeah. Love it. Okay, well, I'm gonna welcome Chelsea. This is Chelsea Bennett from Lulu. We're so excited to have her. Lulu is one of WIP's silver sponsors this year for the previous conference that we just had back in March. So we're very excited to have her do this special sponsor series webinar. I will tell you a little bit about Chelsea in just a second. I'm just still waiting for people to come in. We still only have about 50 people, so. Okay. All right, this is a good time. Okay, so Chelsea Bennett is the Education and Community Manager for Lulu.com and host of Lulu's YouTube series, Lulu University, as well as their monthly webinar series. Her areas of expertise include self-publishing, print-on-demand technology, building an author brand, direct sales, and marketing. When not thinking about publishing, Chelsea can be found playing disc golf with her husband or having an in-depth conversation about the universe with her cat, Batman. Love it. All right. Thank you so much for coming, Chelsea. We're really excited to talk all about Lulu. And just quick housekeeping for everyone. When you have questions for Chelsea, please put them in the Q&A box for her to answer at the end. She can't always see what's going on in the chat, so it just really helps out to put them there. All right. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Hello, hey everybody. Thank you for joining. I was just looking in the chat to see where everyone is from. I don't see any other North Carolinians in the chat. Raise up if you are from North Carolina. It sounds like Tracy just made up a place because whatever she put in there that doesn't sound real. So shout out to everybody and thank you all for joining us from wherever you are hailing from. I appreciate your time. Oh, Judy. Hey, Judy, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. As Amy said, when I share my slides, I won't be able to see the chat or the Q&A, but I think that there will be plenty of time at the end for questions, and I'm going to try to leave some time for that. I will say before we get started, today is classical movie day, so if you don't have any plans for your little Friday, then pop in a classical movie. There are some people that I work with that are younger than me that have never seen Clueless or Napoleon Dynamite. So I guess those movies have now shifted into the classical canon. So if you have any good recommendations, drop them in the chat for me to see when we're done. So I will go ahead and share my screen here and tell you a little bit about Lulu. All right, so hopefully you are all seeing a very cool looking cat with sunglasses on, no less. And again, I'm here to talk to you about how to publish, print, and prosper with Lulu. So for any of you who do not know about Lulu, maybe this is your introduction to what Lulu does and who we are. Lulu is a real word. It's not just a leggings company or a fast fashion brand. It's also a real word that means a remarkable person, object, or idea. We were founded in 2002 by Bob Young of Red Hat fame. Our publishing platform is free to use. We have printed over 53 million books. That number has only increased since I made this slide. And we paid out over $143 million in author revenues. That is such a staggering number. I feel like I'm saying it wrong every time. So that's just a little bit about us and what we've been doing since 2002. Our mission is that we are dedicated to making the world a better place, one book at a time, through sustainable practices, innovative print-on-demand products, and a commitment to excellent service. But wait, there's more. I also always like to share with folks that we are a B Corp. If you are not familiar with the B Corp movement, B Corps are for-profit companies certified by the nonprofit B Lab to meet standards of social and environmental performance, accountability, and transparency. I'm always really proud to say that Lulu has joined this community. We've been a part of it since I think 2017. And I really appreciate working for a company that cares about this earth that we all share. This is me. So just to prove to you, it is Chelsea Bennett. I am Chelsea Bennett. I am Lulu's education and community manager. And that is my cat, Batman, famous from my bio. He won't be making an appearance today. He doesn't work on Thursdays or any other day that I've come across yet. So we won't see him today. All right, so I told you about Lulu, but what do? We help you publish, print, and prosper. So we are a print-on-demand and self-publishing company. I like to start with this slide because I think it's a good example of just the range of things that you can make on Lulu. So people think, when you think about self-publishing, maybe you think, oh, my novel or my trilogy, or, there's a lot of different things that may come to mind, but really at Lulu, we run the gamut. We have a ton of different formats and product types to choose from. And so this slide has a few of my favorite. It's hard. Well, they're my favorite currently, but I always switch them out, except for the first one, Big Bellied Merbabes, a body positive coloring book. This book was published in I don't know, maybe 2018 or 2019. It's been a handful of years. It doesn't matter. I love it all the time. Everything else on this slide is relatively new, but this book is just, to me, quintessential independent publishing. I love it so much. The Little Alphabet Foodie is another great book. Children's books are very common on Lulu. We're a great platform for that. Beside of that is Luxie House Magazine, another one of my favorites, really beautiful and well done magazine. Achuum, I may be saying this wrong. This cat is not American, but Achuum the cat. This is a very famous cat on social media. I'm not convinced it's not a puppet if you look at this cat and its photos, but a very famous pet influencer. So if you are interested in that, check it out. We see a lot of folks around the holidays, especially for people who have famous pets. Calendars are a really, really great product for that. You Must Be This Tall to Exit the Park is a book made from the fake theme park Twitter account, or X, I guess now. So just a compilation of some of the best tweets that they put out. Tiny Home Big Flava is a beautiful cookbook. West Virginia Wasteland Bestiary is a really fun comic book. Anime sketchbook, sort of in the same vein. 2024 Self-Care Planner, again, oh man, her name is blanking. Dominique Calderon. Dominique Calderon is the author of this planner. She has a really wonderful Instagram account as well. Just a lot of self-care and self-love. So if you ever find the need for a little boost of self-esteem or self-love, follow her on Instagram. And then last but not least is Vecking. This is a gorgeous photo book. So I just kind of like to show this to kind of get the creative juices flowing and let you know all of the different formats and ways that your work can appear through publishing on Lulu. All right, so here are just some of the facts. Here's what we do. Here's some of the top level information that I want to share with you about Lulu. First up, it's free to publish on Lulu. As I mentioned, you only pay when you want to buy print copies of your book. Creating an account is free. Uploading is free. You only pay when you want to buy print copies of your projects. And of course, if you're creating an ebook, then nothing to pay there. We don't have any upload or revision fees. I always like to mention this as well. There are some others in the space that do charge for those things. But I like to tell people, if you are new to self-publishing and you're just kind of looking at all your options, Lulu can be very low risk, high reward, because you can kind of get in and out the door the cost of one book. So we're print on demand. So there are no minimums or maximums. You can create a book, publish it, see what you think, and then make your decisions from there. We have a ton of free resources on our blog and social media accounts at lulu.com. You can find us all over the place. We just launched a podcast at the end of last year. So if you prefer to digest your information that way, our VP of marketing and our community manager and content manager host that podcast. They do an amazing job. As I mentioned earlier, we have a ton of different formats, 3,000 possible formats, colors, and size variations. I don't think I have it listed on this slide, but a great way to play around with these is with our pricing tool. So I have a video of how that works. It's a great tool, very robust, and again, a really great way to explore Lulu and get an idea of what creating a project might cost you and just get a familiarization. Is that a word? become familiar with the platform. We do paperback, Coilbound, which is a kind of standout product set for us, hardcover, case wrap, and dust jacket, saddle stitch, and calendar, wire O bindings. We have a built-in cover tool that you can use. So again, if you do just want to try it out, we have free interior templates for notebooks that are blank, line, dot, and grid. You can download one of those, upload it onto our publishing platform, create your own cover with our cover tool, and then kind of get a feel for it and test it out. We also have a Hire a Pro page. So if you do want that professional support, we don't offer that at Lulu. We just really help you print and publish your books and then sell direct, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But if you need help with formatting, marketing, editing, cover design, any of that, lulu.com/partners can help you out. Our order import tool is a great tool that we just released within the past year. This is really helpful for pre-sales, Kickstarter campaigns, gifts at the end of the year, marketing if you need to send your book out to a lot of different folks. You create a CSV file of these different names and addresses and what project of yours you want to send them. Upload that to Lulu in one foul swoop, and we place all those orders at once. So you don't have to go in and manually enter those. We have a global print network. So we have printers all around the world. I think we have 7 or 8 in network right now. Of note, we have a couple in the US, of course, Canada, Australia, France, the UK, maybe India. Look online. We have it on our website. But we have a global print network that is always expanding. This is really helpful because it allows us to route the order to the printer that's closest to the delivery address, helping us negate some of the shipping costs as well as shipping times. And we have multiple ways to sell. So we have our own bookstore, we have global distribution, and we have Lulu Direct. And I will touch on those all as we go along. Oh my gosh, how rude am I? This is Reuben the Bulldog. So as I mentioned, a lot of folks who have very famous pets will put their pets in print through calendars or photo books. Reuben the Bulldog has a very healthy social media following. They make a calendar with us every year and donate the proceeds to Bullies to the Rescue has been one that they've done recently. And he is a handsome little man, and I am glad to have him with me today. Don't tell Batman. Okay, so those are the things that we do, but how do we do it? So it's free to publish. What does that look like? You simply create an account and upload your cover file and your interior file PDFs to Lulu's publishing platform. That's all you need to get in and out is 2 PDFs, one for your cover file and one for your interior file. And of course, these need to be to spec for the book you are building. Our pricing calculator can help with that, and I'll cover that in a moment. We don't have any minimums or maximums. So since we're print on demand, you only pay for the books you need when you need them. There is no minimum order that you need to hit. We publish in print and ebook formats. As I said, we have a ton of formats to choose from, including hardcover and coil-bound ebooks as well. And we have global distribution and direct sales. So you can sell your book however you want. If you want to put your book on Amazon, Ingram, and Barnes & Noble, global distribution is a great option for that. If you want to sell your book through your own website, direct sales is a great option for that. If you say, I don't want to do any of that, I just want to do the most simple option available, the lulu.com bookstore has you covered there. All right, so how can you do it? All right, this first video is of our pricing calculator. I will just talk over this as I go through it. So from the Lulu homepage, you will go to pricing and then book pricing. And I love this tool. I think it's just so cool and very, very helpful. So you can see all of our product types at the top. What I was just highlighting there is that green icon indicates that what you're choosing is global distribution eligible. That is important if you do want to go through Amazon, Ingram, and Barnes & Noble. So you see, you select your trim size, your page count, and then pick your binding types. And of note, when you put in your specifications of your book, it's going to gray out what isn't available to you. So the book that I put in was too big for saddle stitch, so that's not available. We've got interior colors, so you can pick which ones you want there, depending on your book. Your paper type, I love a cream, that's just me, and a matte cover. I'm also a fan of that. So you can see the shipping rates and revenue estimates. Over to the side is where you can download book templates and cover templates that are made to spec of the information that you just put in. So I love this tool. Again, you don't have to have an account to use it. You can just go to our website and test it out. It's really valuable because it can help you for planning budget-wise, but it will also give you specs for interior files and cover files that you can give to your designer or upload into whatever program you're using to create your book. And then you know that as you're creating your book, your files are going to upload without a problem. So I always like to recommend that folks start there just to get a really good idea of what they're making and get resources that'll help the upload process go a little bit easier. All right, and the next video that I have for you. Okay, so I've talked a lot about the theory, if you will. So this is what it actually looks like in practice. So this video, I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit, but this is literally what it looks like to create a book in Lulu. So I'm just going to go through this process because I find that talking about it is one thing and saying that it's easy is one thing, but then when you get in there, it's like, oh, what does this mean? So I am going to show this video now. As I said, we will speed it up a little bit, and I'll kind of walk you through the process of making a book. Once you create an account, that is what the account looks like. You can go to create a new project. We'll have all of our project types here that you can choose from, and then you'll be able to scroll down to select a goal. So you can use, I'll pause for a second here, but you can use Lulu to publish your book. You can use Lulu just to print your book. So if you are already at that point where you know you're going to be selling it through global distribution, you know you want to sell it through Lulu Direct, then publishing your book is a good option for you. You can assign ISBNs, put in all that extra information, and then end up in a space where you can just say, yes, let's go into global distribution, or yes, let's link to my store so I can start selling directly. However, if again, you're just kind of wanting to test out quality, or you're publishing something that you just need a couple of copies of to keep on hand, you want to buy something in bulk, you don't need an ISBN, there's a lot of other different applications for just printing a book. And if you know that that's what you want to do, you can select that at this step. And again, it'll kind of truncate or expand the steps you have to go through depending on what your goal is for the book. So for this example, I am using a public domain book, Call of the Wild, and we'll prompt you for all the information that we need to kind of get you set up with your metadata and have your book categorized appropriately. So on this page is the copyright. You can select whatever editions you want. As you can see, I think we have every version of an edition that you could fathom for a book. Some of these, I mean, I don't even know if they're real, but they're there. So if you are, doing a second edition or an editor's copy or a beta, all that can be indicated there. Obviously, we have places for author. You can add other contributors if you have illustrators. Enter in your copyright. You can see here that we have a couple of different levels of copyright, depending on what you're looking for. And we also have ISBNs. So you can use a free ISBN from Lulu. I'll pause it for a second here again. We can use a free ISBN from Lulu. That's what I'm choosing here. You can also bring your own to our platform. You can see that that's the next option. So selecting an ISBN from Lulu, we will give you the barcode, we'll give you the ISBN. You can download it in these different file formats. One thing to note is that your imprint will say lulu.com. Maybe that matters to you and maybe it doesn't. It really just depends on your goals for the book. So here you will just upload your PDF file. We'll go through it and make sure everything looks good and that it will format appropriately. So you can see the file was validated. We're able to pull out the size of the book and the page count there, and we'll fill that out. So this really mirrors our pricing calculator. We just want to make sure that all of your printing specs are selected here so we get it right. So you'll go through and choose what you want. Again, options that aren't available depending on page count or trim size are grayed out. Matte cover, and then here is where you can upload your own cover or use our cover creation tool, which has replaced our Canva plugin there. So that's to note. We have made a very similar tool to what Canva has. So if you have used Canva in the past, you'll be really familiar with what that looks like and how to use it. You upload your cover. It's again going to normalize. And then we have a really cool preview tool that will populate below. So I recommend that as you are publishing with Lulu, flip through this, make sure that we have these guides here for your bleed and your trim lines. Of course, you want to make sure everything falls within those so it's going to print appropriately. But take a gander, take a flip through this digital, rendering of your book and make sure everything is where it is supposed to be. You can see that that is what I am doing now in this video. So after everything looks good, you can move on to the next step in the process, which is, I would also recommend downloading your print ready files. So this is what we're sending to our printer. It's good to have a copy on hand, just, in case. Here you'll put in your project details. So the description, here's me doing a very poor job. I should probably chat GPT this, talking about what this book is about. You can put in your description, contributor notes if you want, table of contents here if you want, and then we'll move on to categories and keywords. So we already have the fiction. I chose that earlier. We also have an opportunity for you to select your BISAC categories. This helps bookstores and retailers categorize your book. It helps them understand what your book is, where they should list it, and how they should serve it up when people are searching for it. So I do recommend putting in BISAC categories. The more you put in, the more niche and the more opportunities you have for your book to kind of stand out, I think. And then keywords here for the Lulu bookstore. So that people come to our bookstore and search for any of these terms, your book will be served up. And then you can select an audience for your book and indicate if it is explicit content or adult content. On this step, you will put in your revenue goal or what you want to sell your book for. So we have fixed list price or revenue goal, as you saw. So if you just say, I want to sell every single book for $12, that's your fixed list price. I like to do the revenue goal. So if you say, I want to make $5 per sale, then it's going to tell you what you need to sell that book for in every single channel, in every single currency that we have. Again, we are a global company. We have a global bookstore. And then you can see your global distribution revenue from each of our channels that we're going to sell through and each currency. Next, you can set your payees for the book. I mentioned Ruben the Bulldog earlier and how his human will make calendars and donate the proceeds to charities. If you want to use your book to raise money for a cause, that is where you can put in that information. You can put in a nonprofit or the person you want to receive the revenue from the book. This is just the review page. So we're just looking at all the information that we put in, making sure that it is correct. The payees are correct. I'm taking all that money from Jack London. So shout out to him for writing this book hundreds of years ago, a long time ago. And then once all that looks good, then you can hit publish and we will see in a moment here, a book that looks like a rocket ship kind of exploding from this swirling bar right now. So in these steps, you can see you go through all of them. We prompt you. A couple things you're going to want to have on hand are your metadata. You want to make sure that's really consistent. The ISBN, of course, if you're bringing your own. Once you publish, you will have the opportunity to go into general, select, private access, and then enroll in retail distribution. I would recommend that you want to leave your book in private access until you order a proof copy. Proof copies are so important. And I know that writing a book is a tremendous endeavor. And when you're done with it and you feel like you're done, you've uploaded it and you just want to sell it immediately, do yourself a favor and get the proof copy and give yourself time to, don't rush this part. You've worked so hard to make a quality, beautiful book. Don't rush this part. Don't kind of fumble at the finish line. So give yourself time to order a proof copy and review it, and maybe order 2 or 3 to give to friends, family, editors, whoever, so they can look through it as well. Because 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, there will be something that you want to change or that is misspelled, or there's going to be something in it that you may want to change. And you want to be the one to find it and not your readers. So I always highly, highly encourage getting a proof copy. If you don't want to do that for whatever reason, you can sell through the Lulu bookstore immediately. You can hit general access right there. That means anyone who on our website can find it, and you're off to the races. If you want to go through global distribution, you do have to order a proof copy. You have to get the proof copy, and then you have to approve it within your account before we will send it off through global distribution. But again, it's a good practice to make sure everything works. Then order a proof copy. So all that preamble, I could have just waited for this part, I guess. All right, so then order a proof copy. It goes in the cart. And then you can check out from there. So that is how you publish on Lulu. That is our publishing tool and what it looks like. As you can see, we really serve up what we need from you and make it kind of easy and user-friendly. So once you kind of get your templates from our pricing calculator and everything is to spec, this should be a pretty smooth process. All right. So I talked about how to publish on Lulu, and now let's get into distribution with Lulu. And just talk amongst yourselves while I take a sip of water. All right, I'm back. Okay, so going wide with Lulu. This dog, I just used car salesman. I don't know. It just made sense to me at the time. All right. So we sell through the Lulu bookstore. I talked about that. Lulu does not charge distribution fees or production fees. Our revenue splits are 80-20 for print books. So what that means is that if you sell your book through the Lulu bookstore, Lulu gets 20% of the revenue and you get 80%. You can choose to get paid through check as long as you hit a $20 threshold on a quarterly basis, or PayPal as long as you hit a $5 threshold on a monthly basis. So those are our payout options there. Ebooks are a 90-10 split. So when you sell ebooks through the Lulu bookstore, you get 90% of the revenue and Lulu gets 10. We also sell through global distribution, as I mentioned. So this connects you to 40,000 different retailers. We do that by partnering with Ingram. So if you are not aware, Ingram is the largest wholesaler in the game, in the US, at least. I think globally as well. But so what that means is that bookstores and libraries, a lot of times they're looking to Ingram to buy their inventory. So we do have authors that will approach local bookstores and just say, hey, will you carry my book? And you're able to do a consignment or, buy your books in bulk and do it that way. But for some, it will make it a little bit easier if you do have it in the catalog where they are already buying their books from. So we also sell through Amazon and Barnes & Noble as well. So a good option for you there. The thing to keep in mind is, again, if you are configuring your book on our pricing calculator, make sure that you're seeing that green globe and book icon. That means you are good to go. I always like to call out that none of our distribution partners can make a Coilbound book. It is a magic that they have not unlocked yet. So if you do want to go through global distribution, Coilbound books are not eligible for that. So if you want to sell those, sell them through the Lulu bookstore or sell on your own site with Lulu Direct. So with Lulu Direct, you can sell through your own website. You keep customers on your site. You keep 100% of your revenue. You can learn more about your customers, collect customer data. Lulu Direct is a really great tool if you are looking at your authorship as a business. And I'm sure that everyone on this call is doing that. And I would also like to mention that Lulu, we play nice with other people in our space. So don't think if your book is already listed on Amazon that you can't use Lulu if you think it might make sense for you. It's really just about what can you build for yourself that's going to help you reach your readers. And I would just encourage everyone to consider implementing a direct sales solution to do that if you haven't already. So why not look at Lulu for direct sales? All right, so with Lulu Direct, you sell your books through your own website. As I mentioned, you keep 100% of your profits. You're not paying for distribution fees. You're cutting out the middleman. You're collecting customer data. So what this means is that your readers come to your website, they buy your book, they check out on your website. You handle all of that. The order is sent to Lulu to print and fulfill. So you automate the print and fulfillment. And in that process, you're getting names and email addresses, geographic locations for your readers. And that can be immensely powerful for an author, for someone who is trying to grow a brand and a business. So this can help you obviously to see who's buying your books, but it can also help you kind of know when it's time or when it might be right for you to start a subscription, do some gated content, things like that. It can make it easier to find your super fans when you're selling things and you're seeing, oh, Barbara is buying everything that I make. That's awesome. So maybe she is a person that would be interested in doing a subscription with me or a Patreon or a Substack. And once you get to 25, 50, 75 of those people, it may open up some other doors for you and other opportunities. As I said, you automate the print and fulfillment with direct sales. White label drop shipping is another thing you can take advantage of with Lulu Direct. This just means that your branding is on the packing slip, not Lulu's. So it's a really great option for brand continuity throughout the whole process. Your readers find you, they come to your website, they check out on your website, they get the book in the mail, it has your name on it or your branding. Global Print Network, as I said, Lulu Direct is just a way for you to integrate into our global print network. You can also get paid faster. So cash flow can also be something that can be positively affected by selling your books directly. So we integrate with Wix, WooCommerce or WordPress, Shopify, or our Print API. With these solutions, you can get paid within 24 to 48 hours after a sale, rather than waiting 30, 60, 90 days to accrue your funds. And again, this can be really helpful when you're planning marketing campaigns, when you're thinking, can I do a subscription? Can I find my true fans? Is this sustainable? You know, how much money can I count on each month? And when you're able to see that you're getting paid from your sales within 24 to 48 hours, that can just really help with some brand building and marketing efforts. Okay, so now I will show you some Lulu users in the wild. I know that at this point, it's like the classical movies thing. I know that this is a dated reference at this point, but Joe Exotic was just such an interesting time capsule, I think, for Americans in 2020. So I'm not letting it go anytime soon, but he doesn't publish with us. He's still in jail. Okay. All right. So here are some examples of folks that are using Lulu and Lulu Direct to sell their work. So this one is Scribe Forge. So they do planners to help you if you are writing fantasy, sci-fi. They help you build your world. So they have different planners and prompts and workbooks that help you create a fantastical world for your readers to enjoy. I love this website because I think one of the huge benefits of direct sales and one of the powers of direct sales is owning the customer journey. And what I mean by that is if you sell your books on Amazon and you send your readers to Amazon to buy your books, then we all know what the Amazon homepage looks like or what your homepage looks like when you go to Amazon to buy something. And it's great because it's telling you all the things that you're probably interested in and all the ways you can spend your money with them and get everything tomorrow. And there's the time and a place for that. But when you sell books through your own website, you can bring people into your world immediately. And I love this example because I think that's exactly what they're doing. I do not write science fiction or fantasy novels, but gosh, I want to when I land on this website. So owning the customer journey and being able to really connect with your readers right from that homepage can be really powerful in relationship building. And so I really love this example. So as I said, they do world building. Here is an example of their essential world building blueprint and workbook. So one of the things that I really like that they do is they have several different covers for their workbook. So they have one for fantasy, they have one for paranormal, they have one for sci-fi. They have all these different versions so that whatever their readers are looking for, they can really target those markets and offer them something. And when you use print on demand and when you plug into a solution like this, you can create one book. The interior files can be the same, but the cover files are vastly different. We see a lot of people do this for low and no content. You make one notebook interior and then you have, 5 to 10 different covers for whatever tickles the fancy of your readers. So I think this is a really smart way to do it. And I love including them as an example. If you are looking for a world building companion, check them out. All right, so shifting gears here to mindfulness and meditation. Phoebe Garnsworthy. I love this example too. Again, aren't we all feeling a little bit more relaxed by looking at this beautiful lake scene? I love this. It's so in line with what she does. She does a lot of affirmations, meditations, just self-care, things like that. So this is completely in line with her brand. Once you get there, she is already kind of priming you to be in the state that she wants you to be in and that her content goes really well with. Another thing that I really like that she's doing is the email capture above the fold. So creating an email list, I didn't really touch on this, but if you don't have an email list, if you haven't thought about email marketing, here's your sign to do so. Email marketing is so powerful. I mean, social media marketing obviously is wonderful as well. There's a lot of ways to market your book, but think about past that. When you have the email address, that is a straight line of communication to your readers. That is how you can tell them about what you're doing, your new books, behind the scenes content, giveaways, incentives. Email marketing is so powerful and converts on a much higher scale than social media marketing does. And think about your own email inbox and the people that you subscribe to. It's a little bit more effort to subscribe to an email. And I think most of us kind of go through more of a checklist than just following someone on social media. So when you can get in someone's inbox, you have a great opportunity to continue that conversation, get more feedback, and create more opportunities for them to interact with your content. So she is doing that here right above the fold, asking for an email address, but she's also giving you a free meditation. So again, when you know your audience, when you know what they're coming to you for, whether it's your books or your podcast or your newsletter or whatever you have that is adding value for them. If you can give them something for free in exchange for an email address, that's a really nice way to collect that information. So a little bit farther down on Phoebe's page are her books. So again, this, I like highlighting this because, and you know, I don't want to pick on Amazon. I know they're the little guy, but if you go to Amazon and buy a book, you know, it's going to say at the bottom, other readers like this, or here's some other, I don't know the right verbiage, but it basically says, hey, you like this book? Here's 100 other books that are sort of like this that you might like. And that can be really helpful. As a consumer, it can maybe be not so helpful as a author when people are looking for your book and then they see one that looks similar, that's $1 or $2 cheaper, or, you know, has more reviews or whatever it is. And then you're distracted and you're buying that instead. So when you do own this customer journey, when you sell through your own website, you can do that exact same thing, except that all the books that you recommend are also your books, which I love. I think it's just such a great way to share what you have. And again, mirror, you know, the best practices and sales tactics that Amazon is doing. You can copy all of that for your own website and help with your conversions and your traffic and your own space. So one thing that I was going to mention in the email list building, another great thing about building your email list is that it gives you a way to communicate with your audience outside the whims of social media. So we've seen in the past year alone, a lot of things change, algorithms change, you know, platforms rise and fall, may potentially be banned by the government. So if you are putting all of your eggs into the social media basket, spread them out on the farm, or I don't know if that's a good extension of that metaphor, but what I'm trying to say is when you have your own website, you have a home base that doesn't have to suffer if, you know, some billionaire buys something, or the government closes down a platform you've been using. All right, and I think maybe this is my last example. I think I have one more after this, but all right, Kelly Oliver, what a great byline or explanation. If Nancy Drew, if she drank Jack Daniels, I don't know why that was such a tongue twister, but so, all right, Kelly Oliver is a fiction author. She's also a professor and has 3 cats, Mischief, Mayhem, and Flan, which I like as well. So she has a great sale page. I mean, again, you land on her homepage. She's got all the books that she wants you to look at. And that's something else you can do with your own website. If you want to highlight one book and pull one back, if you want to boost your backlist sales, you decide what the reader sees and you curate that journey for them, depending on, you know, what your goals are for your business. So obviously at the top here, she's got the join my newsletter. She's got all of her social media icons up there to the right. And then she has all of her books with a review from Kirkus, which obviously is great social proof. And then here is an example of her sale page. So I wanted to call this one out because I wanted to stress a little bit that it doesn't have to be either or. And I know that I had mentioned this earlier, but this is just an example of someone in real life that is selling through Lulu Direct. So she's got this Shopify page, but she's also got it on Amazon. She's distributing through Barnes & Noble. She's got it on IndieBound. She's also got Audible as well. So you want to be where your readers are. You want your book to be available in any format that your reader may want. So this can just be a nice complement. Your direct sales can just be a nice complement to what you're already doing. But you can see here that she is incentivizing the readers to buy directly from her by offering them a discount. So that's another thing that you can do. And again, you know, for anyone on this call who's selling through Amazon, you know what those revenue cuts look like. You know that every person that you're going to use to sell through is going to take a little bit of your revenue. And when you're selling directly, you're getting more per sale. So you can do things like offer discounts and still come out on top and earn more, and, you know, have a different price point and be able to manipulate that a little bit. So again, another benefit of selling direct. Okay, yes. So this is a company that is using our Print API. I haven't touched on that very much, but our Print API, if you have access to the back end of your website, if you're using a website that doesn't play nice yet with Shopify or Wix, WooCommerce, our Print API may be worth looking at. So with our Print API, it's just a line of code. You plug into the back end of your website. You choose whatever e-commerce platform you want, so you're handling that. But what's really great about our API is that you can really build out some nice customization. So every single book can be different and bespoke for the person that's getting it. This example, so Honeycomb Collective, they're really, really great people from Australia. They make personal astrological almanacs. So you go to their website. This is obviously a screenshot from their site. When you click buy now, they will give you a little quiz, or maybe a questionnaire is a better way. You can't fail it because it's just information about you. So you just put in your birth date and your birth time, birth date, a couple other things about that. And then they create your custom personal astrological almanac and then send it to you. So this is a great application of this. If you do have something that this would make sense for, we also have people who sell fitness, nutrition plans, and workouts. They do something very similar where they have an intake form. You put in your body type or your habits, and then they create a custom plan for you to reach your goals. So if you are working with something like that, I think another cool application could be children's books. So if you're creating a book, a children's book, where there would be an opportunity for, you know, the person who buys it is the main character, or the parent can put in their child as the main character. You just kind of have a couple questions like what color hair, what do they look like, what's their name, and then you know you send that to us, we print and fulfill and send it out. So our API really offers a ton of customization opportunities and a little bit more setup. So you do have to have access to the back end, or you need to be in touch with the developer, but the applications or the payoff can be so worth it. Okay, I'm coming to the end now, so it looks like we will have plenty of time for questions, but here are some free resources that I wanted to share with you. First up, since you are all in Women in Publishing, we do have a promo code for Women in Publishing. You can see that there, WinPub15. This will give you 15% off print products on Lulu.com. This is not for Lulu Direct, so you can't get set up with Lulu Direct and apply this coupon. Unfortunately, you can always buy offer copies at cost through Lulu. So again, if you're brand new to Lulu, you haven't used this yet, you're interested in it, you can create an account, purchase a book, or upload your own, and then use this for 15% off. You can learn more about Lulu at Lulu.com, of course. Lulu University. So if you're new to self-publishing, meet Lulu. This, again, just kind of gives you some information. It's basically this presentation, so you could probably go a level deeper at this point if you wanted to. We have a great blog. Our resident blogger, Paul, updates it regularly, a couple times a week. He does reviews of different products that can help you make a book, obviously reviews of Lulu and new tools that we have. And direct-to-consumer book selling is a great one. So if you maybe are thinking, I would love to sell direct, but I don't know how to encourage my audience to do this. Again, we are all so trained. I just said this to my husband the other day, but convenience is addictive, right? So everybody wants to go to Amazon and get their book right when they click buy. So there is maybe some retraining that you might have to do with your audience to get them to the point where they want to buy from you, or they think to buy from you. So direct-to-consumer book selling has some good information on how to do that. And then last but not least, you can follow us at Lulu.com. We are all over the interwebs, all over the place. So please check us out there. All right, so I will stop sharing my screen and answer some questions. Again, I am Chelsea Bennett at Lulu. You can see C Bennett at Lulu.com. Don't hesitate to reach out. I love helping folks publish. And if I don't have the answer to your question, I'm usually pretty good about finding it. And let's see if that's true now. I'll open it up for questions. All right, going to the Q&A. Okay. All right, the first question is, I've been searching around the Lulu site to see if I could figure out a way to sell Coilbound. Ah, yes. So, Rebecca, good question. And yeah, I will just go over this again. So for Amazon, if you want to sell Coilbound books on Amazon, there is a way to do it. It's just a little bit complicated. So I would say fulfillment by Amazon is an option. That would mean that you buy bulk books if you're making a Coilbound book, and then you have to send them to an Amazon warehouse, and then Amazon fulfills the orders as they come through. That's really the only workaround that I've found. But again, our best suggestion is to sell direct. Put those books on your website so that you can sell them direct. And then that exclusivity of you can't sell them anywhere else but your website can actually be kind of an upside for you if you market it appropriately. All right. And Angela is asking, what are the main differences between Lulu and Amazon KDP? So again, Coilbound is a big one, also direct sales. So again, Amazon, it doesn't have to be Amazon versus Lulu. You can sell through Amazon using Lulu. You can also publish on Amazon and then sell through Lulu as well if you want to do that. I mean, I think it comes down to control and just your goals for your book. So I also always like to share that we're a B Corp. I'm very proud of that. I think that that's something that helps us stand out as well. But outside of all the practicality, we have a global print network. We have all the trim sizes and formats. So the biggest thing that I would consider, or that I would ask you to consider, is what are your goals? Are you interested in making more revenue per sale? Are you interested in opening up as many distribution channels as possible? Are you interested in doing a special edition Coilbound? And if the answer is yes to a couple of those, bring Lulu into the fold, and don't be afraid to do both. So you can absolutely do that. Tamian, email me, cbennett@lulu.com. All right, if you plan to sell on multiple platforms, can we use the tools in Lulu to build the interior and ebook versions and then sell them elsewhere, or is that not how the tools would work? Let me think. You can do that. I would probably need to know more about the platforms that you are speaking of, but most self-publishing platforms, the upload is very similar. The trim sizes are similar, and the way that you go through the process is going to be similar. So if your files work on lulu.com, there's a good chance they'll work on Amazon, on IngramSpark, with just maybe a little bit of manipulation, I would say. So if you did want to do this, I would, let's see. Yeah, I mean, but honestly, if you wanted to do that, you don't really need Lulu. If you want to publish with Lulu, we would love that. But you can publish on Lulu and then just upload your PDFs on the other platforms as well. So again, without knowing the specifics, I would say you can do it, but I don't really think it makes a ton of sense when you can do these things outside of our platform as well. Oh, what paperweight are your jackets printed on? I had a client ask me that. Oh man. That's a great question, and I don't know the answer to it. Maybe 70 pound, maybe 70 pound would be right. Tamian, email me with that question. I'll be happy to follow up. All right, so you provide a way to buy ISBNs. We don't provide a way to buy ISBNs. We give out ISBNs for free, or you can bring your own. So if you go to Bowker, if you have your own imprint, then you can, or if you just want your own ISBNs, you go to Bowker, buy those, and then you can bring that to Lulu to publish your book. Or if you don't want to do that, you can use a free ISBN from Lulu. I will say two caveats, I guess. One is that it will say that Lulu is the publisher of your book. That may or may not matter at all to you. For most people, it doesn't matter because you would only find that if you Google that ISBN. And then the other thing is if you don't use it within like maybe 6 to 12 months, I think we take it back. I guess thrice caveats then. So the other thing to keep in mind would be if the dark day comes that you decide to leave Lulu, you cannot take our ISBNs. You cannot take a Lulu ISBN to a different platform. If you have your own ISBNs, you can do that. But again, those are kind of not super common, but just like to put all the information out there. All right, do you have calendar templates that auto-create the actual dates? So yes, so for our calendar, great question. So for our calendar templates, we provide, I don't know, maybe like 4 interior file templates, and you can choose those. You can also put in custom dates. So if you specific holidays or, I think you can also kind of choose countries as well. And then we have some holidays that'll auto-populate. I mean, obviously, if you got the big ones in there, but, I've seen people who want to put all the moon cycles in, or one of my favorite calendars on Lulu is called Pitbull Flower Power. And it's just a wonderful photographer named Sophie Gammon. She photographs pit bulls in shelters to try to get them adopted. So she puts in Shelter Adoption Day or Pitbull Awareness Day and things like that. So we do have templates that you can use. You can put in your own holidays and whatever you want. You can also completely create your own interior file using InDesign or Photoshop or something like that and upload that as well. All right, how are books picked up by Ingram, Amazon, Barnes & Noble via global distribution? All right, this is a two-parter maybe, so I will answer this one first. So we submit this information in batches. So if your book is global distribution eligible, which again, Green Globe, Green Book will let you know that, If it's eligible and you can submit it through global distribution, these retailers will pick up the books. I think it can take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks for them to pick it up because they do it in batches. So I've seen people submit their books and it's up the next day or later that week because they just hit the timing right. And sometimes it does take that 6 to 8 week period. So if you are planning a launch and you really want, Amazon listing to be live when you launch, something to keep in mind. All right, and how many books are sold through these channels via Lulu? Is this actually going to make it easier to sell or will it hurt my chances at higher sales? The answer to that kind of relies on your audience and where they're buying books. So how many are going to be sold through those channels? If all of your readers buy through Amazon, then probably you're going to see a lot of sales through Amazon. If all of your readers are, not are pretty agnostic to platform, Lulu.com is great. In your Lulu dashboard, all of your sales will be reported so you can see, which channels that you're selling through, and you can find all of that there. But as far as how many books are sold, that depends on your audience and your marketing. But I will say we do have a lot of resources on marketing tips, a lot of webinars that we've done. So feel free to check out our YouTube channel or our blog for that. Oh, and I wouldn't say it would hurt you at all. I mean, it's not going to hurt you to have your book everywhere. Yeah. All right, let's see the next question. I know this will depend on size, but for a typical book, how much extra is a Coilbound compared to paperback? For workbooks, you might want to accompany for a paperback. I don't know the answer to that. The pricing calculator is how you will find that out. You can so easily put that in there. I don't know off the top of my head. I know that Coilbound will be a higher price point in most cases, depending on page count and size, as you mentioned. So lulu.com/pricing is just your best bet to figure out exactly how much you're going to pay per unit. You can put in quantity discounts. You can see depending on where you live, you can see how much it's going to cost you to ship those books. You can see how much money you can make through Lulu Direct, through our revenue channels, through global distribution. So I would just recommend starting there. All right, and to follow up, I will double down on this answer. So for picture books, is there a cost of printing a hardcover version? Printing cost is the only cost that you'll experience at Lulu, but we do hardcover, of course. And I would recommend just going. We do have premium, interior color, and standard. Play around with those, see what you like. I would say standard is fine for most books. Premium is going to have a glossy page. So if you are doing a picture book, glossy pages can be really nice for that. So go have at it in our pricing calculator. Will your program format MacBook pages, or do you have to change it to a .docx file? No to both of those. Our program does not format anything, and you will have to change it to a PDF. Our system only accepts PDFs because that is the format that kind of locks everything in. So when you use a PDF, there's very little chance for stuff to shift around and move around. So that's why we made that change. So we don't accept MacBook pages or .docx files. Everything has to be a PDF. Most programs will pretty easily allow you to export your files as a PDF. Could I show an ebook for a travel book with lots of pictures? Oh, damn, I'm sorry about that. I didn't have that with me. I don't have an example of that, but go look on our bookstore. Ebooks are very reasonably priced. Usually there's some that are free on our bookstore. So I would just recommend taking a look and seeing how that has been done before. All right, Elaine, how is Lulu a better option than Amazon's KDP? Well, I kind of already answered this, but again, I think more control over your sales, more control over your data, more options for you in regard to format. We don't have any exclusivity. I think when you publish ebooks with KDP, maybe there's some exclusivity there. We don't have that. We also have a really great support team. So Amazon is a big company. Self-publishing and publishing books is a small part of that business. So we have a really, really responsive support team. I think 24 to 48 hours is our typical turnaround time. And we're a small, mighty team. We really care. I mean, books, authors, that's our bread and butter. We care. We want you to succeed because that's the only way we will succeed. So I'll throw that in there as well. All right. If you bring your own ISBN, does Lulu still provide the barcode? Good question. I don't know the answer to that. I think probably if you enter in your ISBN, we will probably spit out a barcode. Just try it. You can just try it and see. You don't have to commit to anything. You can delete that project. Or if you'd like to email me, cbennett@lulu.com, I can get you an answer to that. All right. How long has Lulu been doing this? I've never heard of it. We have been around since 2002. So I was actually talking to our founder, Bob Young, like a week or so ago, and I said something to him about like, well, Lulu's been around for a long time now, and he laughed in my face. He's an older gentleman. I think he's almost 80 or in his late 70s, and he thought it was really funny that I thought we had been around for a long time. But yes, we've been around since 2002. And I will say, I think kind of the underlying question to that maybe is, how do we make money? We make money when our authors make money. We make when you buy print copies of your book, when you sell your books. So that is why we are so invested in supporting our authors and setting them up for success. All right, I went by this really fast. Oh, okay, but if I want to publish a book for the benefit of a charity, I can set it up so that you distribute those funds directly to the charity. If I want to donate 50% of the proceeds to charity, are you able to split that distribution? Yes, John, and thank you for asking this. I know I tend to talk fast and it's a lot of information. So I know all of you kind of drank from a fire hose right now. So I'm sorry about that. But yes, you can set it up that way. You can choose how much, I mean, any percentage out of 100, as long as your total equals 100%, you can split the revenue however you want. So you would just need, I think maybe you need their EIN, or if it's just an individual, you can get their information. But you just have to fill it out in the payee section. You decide how much money or how much of your revenue you want to go to that entity or that person, and we take care of the rest. So we just need to know their name. If you're getting paid through PayPal, what is their PayPal? If you're getting paid through a check, what is the address? Answer those fields, and then we will take care of the rest. All right, Judy is asking, how long does it take to get a proof copy of your book? I like to tell people 3 to 5 business days. So I like to say give yourself 2 weeks, because that's not including shipping. A lot of times our printers can turn books around within 3 business days, and then they're shipped on that 3rd day. Hardcover, I like to say give yourself that 5 business days. You'll obviously get tracking information and be able to keep an eye on it. But I always like to tell people, give yourself 2 weeks. If you're in a crunch, hopefully you're not, you don't want to rush it. But if you're in a crunch, you have a little bit of leeway with the printing and shipping. I'm sorry, with the shipping times, you can choose like an overnight or an expedited shipping. But for print on demand, it's going to be about 3 to 5 business days for manufacturing. All right, is there a way to set pricing for ebook versus print book? It looked like there was only one price across the board. Oh, okay, yes, good question. Yes, if you have multiple different product sets, so if you do a paperback, hardcover, ebook, those can all be completely different prices. You would go through the publishing process that I showed, just do it. You would do it for each product in each project, and then you can decide, whatever you want to sell those for. So each one can be a different price point. All right, can you repeat?
Hey, Chelsea, really quick, I just wanted
Sure.
to pop in and just give everyone a reminder. We're almost at the 2 p.m. mark.
Yes.
If you want to run long, because I know you have a lot of questions left, I just wanted to let everyone know that we're approaching that. So it's up to you. We can keep going with those questions, and
I will
we can
try.
keep
I
going.
will see how many I can get through in the next couple minutes here, and yeah, I'll see. I'll try to get to the finish line
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay. Can we repeat what you do with Ingram? Okay, so if you already have an account with Ingram, maybe you have a IngramSpark account is what you mean. Maybe you do have an account with Ingram. We distribute through Ingram, the parent company. So we don't work with IngramSpark. They kind of operate in the same realm as us, but we use Ingram for distribution. So again, Ingram is the biggest wholesaler possibly in the world, definitely in the US. They distribute to a lot of bookstores and libraries, buy their inventory from Ingram. So that is how we use them. Do we work with NetGalley? We don't not work with NetGalley. I mean, you could use NetGalley if you'd like. That's fine. All right, let's see. Is it possible to offer free shipping to customers when selling direct? Great question. Yes, you can do that. You can map to our shipping prices if you want, or you can say if you buy 2 books, you get free shipping. If you buy, if you can run a promo for free shipping, you can say shipping is always free. So that is completely up to you when you sell direct. All right, Tammy, what does API stand for? Application Programming Interface. Basically, my favorite metaphor for this is when you go to a restaurant, you order your meal, the waitress goes away, they bring your meal back. You don't really know what happens in between, but you know you got what you ordered. That's basically what an API is. You're connecting with something where you have the integration so you can send off orders or information. The API does its magic. In this instance, it's Lulu making your book. Your reader gets the book. All right. Can you print magazines? Yes, we can. What I need an ISBN for line notebooks. You don't need yeah, that's a great question. You don't need ISBNs for anything you don't want to put through retail distribution. Anything you're selling through the Lulu bookstore or your own website, you do not need an ISBN for that. Do you distribute to South Africa? Absolutely. We can get your books anywhere FedEx goes, anywhere the postal system can go. There are some I don't know what it's called, red-lined countries, or there are places that are not on that list. As long as it is, then we're good. All right. Okay, I know that. All right, question about ISBNs. I answered that. Will Lulu help editing or revising? We don't offer any author services. Lulu.com/partners. You can find that help there. You can publish for free. You only pay when you want to buy print. How many pages do you need to print a coloring book? Again, pricing calculator. You can see all the minimum and maximum pages for each of our trim or each of our binding types in our pricing calculator. What about publishing a bio self-help book with a pseudonym? Great, awesome. That's a good idea. You can totally do that on Lulu. Shipping costs for customers who purchase a book from our website. I did cover this, but again, you can either use Lulu's shipping rates or set your own depending on if you want to do weight-based or quantity-based or free shipping. All right, okay. Any upfront costs? No. There aren't any upfront costs, and so this question is, let's see, are there any upfront costs like Amazon where you don't pay directly for print on demand, but there's a certain cost subtracted? Yes. So if you sell through retail distribution, they're obviously going to take a cut of your revenue. If you sell through Lulu.com, also the same. Our revenue split is 80-20. So if your book costs $5 to manufacture and you sell it for $15, of that $10 of revenue, Lulu's going to take $2 and you're going to get $8. Let's see. Would a magazine be considered a softcover book for printing and formatting? It could be. You could make a hardcover magazine and just shock the world if you wanted to. But yeah, you can do a paperback. We would call that a paperback. All right. And the last question only 2 minutes over. I got to it. All right. If you go wide, do we have to choose between Lulu and IngramSpark? And can we use both? If you print with Lulu, is that just for sales from the website, or can we sell from Facebook and mini chat? I do not know what mini chat is. You can sell from Facebook if okay, so the easy way to do that would just be get a hyperlink to your Lulu listing, post it wherever you want. You can do that. You can sell again through your own website and then sell on social media. I think Shopify has some good tools for that. And again, to close it out, you can use Lulu as an accoutrement to whatever you are already doing. We are not selfish. We will gladly saddle up beside Amazon, IngramSpark, whatever you have going on if it is helpful to you. We did it. We got there.
Yeah, you're a pro, like I said. Pro at answering all those questions. Thanks everybody for hanging out and listening to all of Chelsea's answers. Thanks so much again. Chelsea and Lulu are our silver sponsor for this webinar, and we hope to see you real soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.